So here's the lowdown. Samsung sent across the Galaxy Z Fold 2 for exactly a day. Now that doesn't give me enough time to test out something like the battery life or even the camera performance in excruciating detail like we generally do here at Mr. Phone. Having said that, I have spent all of my waking hours with the Galaxy Z Fold 2 to see what has changed from the first generation Fold. Also, I thoroughly checked out to see if there are any pertinent pain points that hamper the usage experience in general, because it's an all new category of products you see. Well, I'm Ashar from Mr. Phone, and these are my first impressions of the Galaxy Z Fold 2 after a day. But before we move on, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever Mr. Phone puts out an awesome new tech video. Now, before I talk about the Z Fold 2, did you guys notice that Samsung doesn't actually bundle a case with the phone in the box itself? I believe this is a cost-cutting measure to ensure that prices are lower in India. Anyway, the first thing I noticed on the Z Fold 2 is the upgraded front display. The puny 4.6-inch front panel on the Galaxy Fold makes way for a tall 6.23-inch Full HD Plus display with an aspect ratio of 25:9. And you thought the 21:9 aspect ratio in Sony and Motorola phones was freakishly long? Anyway, a taller full screen cover display is actually a welcome move from Samsung, one which was obviously expected. Now, if Samsung didn't do it, then that would have been a problem. So this external cover display has a refresh rate of 60 Hz, and the internal 7.6-inch squarish display has a refresh rate of 120 Hz. Interestingly, Samsung hasn't revealed the aspect ratio for the internal display, but some enterprising souls on Reddit think it could be a 5:4. Now, why I'm harping so much about aspect ratios? Well, because there are some issues with scaling that you have to deal with. For example, when you open the cover display, you will notice that Instagram doesn't work in full screen mode and showcases a vertical letterbox on either side. I ended up using Instagram on the outer display, by the way, which again wasn't the best experience either, as Insta Reels and IGTVs were cropped in to look warped, and even in certain posts where there were a lot of content in the caption, that was getting cut as well. Now, if you are a heavy Instagram user, I suggest that you wait for these aspect ratio issues to be fixed before you buy the Galaxy Z Fold 2. As for the outer display, videos will have massive letterboxing, considering 25:9 is definitely not a standard aspect ratio. So is the case with the 5:4 ratio of the inner display as well. Therefore, video watching in a non-standard aspect ratio on both the displays slightly dampened the whole experience. But if it is any consolation, you can perch the front display up at any angle thanks to the upgraded sturdier hinge. Now, this is awesome, say if you want to sit on a table and watch videos while you're eating food. I think it's pretty useful. Now, like I mentioned, the inner display has a refresh rate of 120 Hz. Now, let it be known that this is an LTPO panel, and therefore you get only an adaptive refresh rate, just like you did with the Note 20 Ultra. This is not really a problem, to be honest. Also, I did notice that the front display has more use now, and I was using it for quickly browsing Twitter and Instagram, or to change tracks on Spotify. For tasks such as playing games, watching videos, or to write scripts, which is basically consumption and creation, I moved to the inner display. Because yes, the keyboard on the cover display is too cramped for my pudgy fingers. By the way, there was all this hue and cry as soon as the Galaxy Z Fold 2 was launched that you might get disoriented by the 60 Hz outer cover display, and when you're moving into the 120 Hz internal display. I didn't face any such problem as such. The transition was mostly seamless, and it worked absolutely fine for me in my limited time that I spent with it. Before I forget, the 7.6-inch display oozes colors from its gorgeous AMOLED pores. It is absolutely stunning to look at. Furthermore, the crease right down the middle didn't really bother me much when the screen was on. Now, but what did bother me was the fact that the size and the weight of the Galaxy Z Fold 2 has increased from the original Galaxy Z Fold. Now, that is understandable considering the phone is sturdier right now, and of course the form factor is entirely new, so it will take some time before these phones become more slimmer. You know what? Don't let anyone fool you into thinking that this is a one-handed phone. Of course, it's a one-handed phone phone when you're using it only using the cover display. But once you open it and you want to use the phone in this tablet mode, then definitely this is a two-handed phone entirely. And another thing that I was slightly disappointed by was the fact that the camera bump is a smidgen too thick for me in daily usage for sure. Also, the phone has a total of 5 cameras, 3 12-megapixel units, wide, ultra-wide and telephoto on the rear, and a 10-megapixel punch hole shooter on the front display and another one on the inside display. I'm really glad that Samsung removed the massive notch from the original Fold, and now it is just a tiny punch hole that doesn't really distract you. But pray tell me, why would anyone need yet another 10-megapixel selfie camera on the inner display when there is a perfectly good one on the outer cover display? Now imagine if this punch hole wasn't there, then you would be looking at an entirely distraction-free experience. I really can't wrap my head around why Samsung would take a decision like this. Now if you guys have an idea and if you feel that I might be missing something, so do let me know in the comment section below what you think about that. As far as if you ask me, I think that in the Galaxy Z Fold 3, maybe Samsung will remove the inner display camera and we'll all go collectively, wow. And the funnier thing is, you can actually use the Fold 2's camera app to see a picture of yourself on the cover display while shooting. Yes, this means you can shoot using the rear camera to shoot selfies or selfie videos, or heck, even ultra wide angle video without having to compose blind. Seriously, I don't know what Samsung was thinking. Also, imagine if it had S Pen support, you could use it as a shutter button. I hope someone from Samsung is watching this and taking feedback. Anyway, the camera app can also be used in flex mode, which means you can use one screen as the viewfinder and the other one as a gallery. YouTube also works in flex mode and feels useful in daily use as well. I didn't have time to take a lot of pictures really, but here are a few samples for you to see. They look pretty compelling, but I definitely need more time with this mystic bronze beauty to give you guys a concrete verdict. One day won't cut it. I'm glad Samsung didn't swap out the Snapdragon 865 Plus inside the Fold 2 for an Exynos 990. This is also mostly because these units are imported and not necessarily made in India. Therefore, you don't have to face any thermal throttling or heating after 30 minutes of Call of Duty. Games look pretty good on the inside display and play well too. If you want performance, the Fold 2 has plenty of it. Oh, and by the way, the fingerprint scanner is on the side and it works fast, no problem. Here's a fun tip while gaming. Hold the Fold 2 right side down. This will ensure that you're not blocking the dual stereo speakers and are actually blocking the hole punch camera, which is ideal. Talking about the speakers, these can get really, really loud. Now, while it is too soon to talk about the battery life, I managed to charge it from 0 to 100% using the bundled 25-watt charger, and it took me around 1 hour 24 minutes, which is good enough. One final thing, I'm glad that Samsung has made multitasking easier on the Fold 2. It is very similar to what I showcased on the Tab S7 Plus. You can either have 2 apps open side by side and create app pairs for the same in the Edge panel, or you can have up to 3 apps apart from pop-up windows for certain supported apps. And let's not forget, there's wireless DeX mode as well for productivity magicians. So that's all I have to say about the Galaxy Z Fold 2 in the one day that I've spent with it. That's the max that I could find out and use and tell you guys objectively and subjectively what I thought about the Galaxy Z Fold 2. Now, to answer the question in the title, does it make sense for India? Now, here's the twist in the tail. Samsung has actually priced the Galaxy Z Fold 2 competitively at just shy of rupees 1,50,000. Don't get me wrong, this is still prohibitively expensive and most users might not even consider buying it, and that makes absolute sense. That said, in context, for those who can actually afford to buy it, the Galaxy Z Fold 2 in the US costs around $2,000, which is close to rupees 1,47,000 rupees. Now that's almost a price match if you don't consider the taxes that are levied in the US, which means that Samsung could have absorbed the taxes, or of course we also saw that some accessories were removed from the box themselves. Having said that, but the other important thing to note is the fact that the Z Fold 2's price is actually lower than the launch price of the Galaxy Z Fold, which is around the 1,60,000 price mark, and this is at around 1,50,000. So obviously a better deal than the first generation Fold for sure. And interestingly, that's not the case in other countries. For example, in the US, it's still at the $2,000 price point, which was the case for the original Fold as well. But what does this mean for end users? Obviously, foldables could become more affordable gen on gen, and we can also expect mid-range foldables which could not touch that 1 lakh price barrier, and that could be exciting for a lot of users. What do you guys think? Now, the Z Fold's biggest advantage is that the competition is sparse. The Huawei Mate X is nowhere to be seen. The Moto Razr 2 is not a worthy competitor. The Microsoft Surface Duo looked promising for a hot minute, but the lukewarm reviews started pouring in, and obviously that also went by the wayside, and people are not going to be very excited about that foldable form factor. Now, the only only legitimate other foldable phone that I can think of that can compete with the Galaxy Z Fold 2 is Samsung's very own Galaxy Z Flip, and now that's an entirely different form factor, so it works out. So if you want a phone that can fold into a smaller form factor, then the Z Flip would be perfect for you, and the Z Fold 2 is for those who want a bigger, more powerful tablet form factor. So it's essentially a win-win for Samsung. And as far as the entire foldable arena goes, without even reviewing it, I can tell you that this is the undisputed champion of foldable smartphones right now. But of course, the competition is sparse. What do you guys think of this assessment? Do let me know in the comment section below. Let's have a discussion. Until next time, this is Aishar from Mr. Phone signing off. Goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.